It's really the students that will feel the effects of the teacher shortage. What are the consequences if there's not a fix?
Well, we've all been to school, Gabriella, and we know that the absolute importance of having a quality teacher. That relationship that you build with your teacher is incredibly important from junior school all the way through secondary. I was reminded of that last week when I was invited to a retirement function from my Year 9 English teacher. Now, that's nearly 30 years ago, but it was incredibly humbling to be able to hear Nick speak with such passion about his work in education and be able to chat and reflect with him of what that meant for as a student as well.
Do you think there's enough incentives for people in Australia to pursue teaching as a career?
Look, we would certainly love to see teaching promoted far more positively and strongly across the broader media. That in itself is an important part of the work that we do. You know, far too often as teachers, we don't hear from our students until much later in life when they say, it was fantastic when I had you as a teacher. So that's one part of it. But certainly, we look at salaries and conditions, and our teacher unions are working incredibly closely with governments around trying to get those conditions right. The thing that we hear from so many teachers is, I just want time to be able to teach my children. And it's getting that balance of teaching, of planning, of record keeping, of reporting to families right.
What about getting teachers to rural and regional areas?
Well, we hear about the teacher shortage crisis, Gabriella, and rural and regional areas have been seeing this for far longer than our larger capital cities. Now, there are incentives around. There are payments available for teachers to move to rural and regional Victoria that I can speak about, and that can be up to $50,000 over a 3-year period for them to do that. So those incentives are there. Personally, I come from rural Victoria and loved my time there, loved working in country areas because, again, it's a relationship that you build with the community, not just with the children.
And just finally, how do we incentivise those retired teachers, the educators who are out there but are not in the classroom? What do we do to get them to come back?
Oh, look, I certainly think trying to encourage them to engage in part-time work is one of those, because many of them may not want to work 5 days a week. So those options are there for those teachers, as well as the support that is in place or being put in place around ongoing professional learning to help them re-engage in the profession. The other demographic or area we're talking about are people who have qualified for teaching but have never taught. We would love to see those people engaging in the profession and certainly having a look at the salary and conditions as part of that, but also just the pure joy of working with children.
Andrew, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Gabriella.